What is up, guys? I am Unreal here with Unreal Gaming, and today is Dungeon Guide number 1 for Ascalon Catacombs. I've noticed a noticeable lack of helpful guides for PvE instances in this game, so I've decided I'm going to try to make a little mini-series out of this. So I'm in Ascalon Catacombs. The path I'm doing today is Path 1. I would argue to people that it's the hardest one to do, only because it's the easiest one to screw up. But I'm going to show you today that, yes, it is definitely possible to make it through pretty much any dungeon with a pickup group with relative ease, provided that you know what you're doing and others know what they're doing. And for those who don't know how to work this dungeon, pay close attention and I'll show you exactly how. So we're starting off with the Spider Queen, the first mini-boss in this dungeon. It involves clearing some of these small spiders. Earlier I was up on top of that pillar. That's where everybody stacks initially. You can't kill a whole lot of stuff from up there. It actually turns invulnerable after the first kill you get, so you do need to jump down once everybody's ready, and only once everybody's ready. Now we are working on killing the little fire spitters here, those gargoyles. Now that we got those out of the way, I ran up to the spider and I stunned it. You have one opportunity to get a stun or a freeze off if you're an elementalist to prevent the spider from attacking for a couple seconds. Oops, I'm actually trapped right now. There we go. Stun break. Spider stunned me back. The spider itself attacks by spitting big pools of really heavy poison on the ground, so when you attack it you just need to stay out of those. A simple dodge roll will get you out. If he happens to freeze you in place, you should have a stun break on your skill bar. If you don't, put one on your skill bar. With the whole group focused on this, it's actually pretty easy to kill. The biggest thing that is most likely to make this a failure is when people don't kill all the little spiders first, because the poison just stacks up so badly if you combine the Spider Queen with the little guys. And with the Queen dead, we're going to move on to the next part. Mind you, again, this is a pickup group. I've never met any of the players that are in this party, but because most of these guys have ran this before, it's not a big deal. So we're stacking on the right side of this door, gathering all these gargoyles together. To explain to people who haven't done this, the reason that you stack is you happen to get all of the enemies in one little pocket, meaning that when you do an attack that can hit more than one target, you guaranteed hit all of them, so the whole group goes down faster. It's also better for heals, as any heals that you may have that are area of effect within a certain range, it's guaranteed your whole party's going to get them because they're all standing right next to you. So trying to avoid the spikes, unlike what I did, I screwed up. Trying to avoid the spikes, you want to run your way up this corridor here. Stay to the left. You can dodge roll to avoid the gargoyles with the fire. And what we're doing now is going to Lieutenant Caller. Caller can be skipped if you don't want to do this, but he gives you another couple of chests, so I'd advise doing him. He's not that hard. And that guy aggroed him a little early for my taste, but whatever. Caller is the same as the spider in that you can stun him or freeze him right at the very beginning, but you only get the one opportunity to do it. Stacking is kind of encouraged. That's the way most people prefer you to do it. They'll get mad if you don't. However, you need to be careful. He has an AoE knockdown, and he'll do a really nasty, see that spin attack. That can wipe your health bar to 0 if you're not careful. You either have to be protected for it with Aegis, or you just need to do what I did and dodge roll out of the way so you don't get hit, whereas most of my party members did get hit. Anyway, the add-ons that he spawns aren't a big deal. They'll just die anyway as you're attacking him with all the AoE attacks you can see going on. So we're going to kill him and move on to the next target once he's done. Excellent. So he drops a chest at his feet, and again, there is going to be a second chest that's going to be right over here by the new waypoint. And with Path 1, we're going to be moving downstairs. In this area here, we're going to take the NPC from the beginning of the dungeon, Hodgins, and we're going to bring him down these stairs. And we need to clear a series of graveling mounds. This is the part where most people screw up in this dungeon. It's actually pretty simple. You just have to have a decent amount of damage. There are a few Graveling Mounds that pop up. You kill them in a certain sequence. I'm not going to expect you to memorize them right yet. The more you do this, the more it'll come naturally. The table back here is where Hodgins sits. If your damage is not good, you can take a tanky character like a Guardian or a Warrior or a Revenant and stick them back there just to take all the Graveling aggro so it doesn't beat the shit out of Hodgins. Because if he dies, this part of the dungeon resets and you have to do it all over again. Normally for this dungeon I would be on my Elementalist, but I'm so happy with the Revenant putting out the great damage that it is that I'm actually sticking with the Revenant for now, and we're doing pretty well. These are going right down. The ideal way to do this is to split off into groups of 2 and 2 on each side with a 5th person tanking Hodgins. I don't believe we actually have anybody tanking this time because our damage is so high. The other side just has 3. All of our 3 mounds are already down. There's 3 mounds per side. In my opinion, once you get rid of your 3, you've fulfilled your obligation. And there we go, the other side fulfilled theirs. So we now have the chest. I'm going to this room behind this downstairs area, and I'm going to grab a little scepter from up here. Once we do that, it allows us to progress on to the next area. Rather than going up the stairs that you saw earlier with a flame trap, I'm just going to waypoint back to where Lieutenant Kohler was, and we're going to go left. Going left, you do have a chance of a troll popping out. If the troll jumps out of the wall and, goes boogie at you, don't engage him, just keep running. It's, yes, for those asking, it is certainly possible to kill the troll, but it's more trouble than it's worth. Just don't do it. Note when you come through this corridor, you want to hug the left wall. The key reason is if you go through the dead center like some unexperienced players do, it's going to spawn a bunch of elite mobs that you're just going to have an annoying time trying to fight, or they're going to hit you as you run through the corridor with your party. Alright, so once everybody's gathered up here, you may be able to see in chat that I'm asking if somebody wants me to get all the Scepter pieces in the next chamber, or if somebody else will do it for the rest of the party. On every character that I have a build where I can do this. I've tried this once on my Revenant so far, and I didn't do all that well. But that being said, I've only had my Revenant for a couple of days so far, so it's really not that hard, provided you have a stun break and 1 or 2 run skills and you know how to use the dodge key, which is V, for those of you who don't know how to use the dodge key. You'll be perfectly fine. There are 5 Scepter pieces. You can get them in any sequence you want. Once all 5 Scepter pieces have been collected, you talk to Hodgins. I don't know where the hell he's going. You can see I'm pulling up my map here because I do have one inexperienced person in this party. You can see them on the map going in a different direction, and I'm trying to draw a line to tell them where to go, and they're not paying attention. And I'm sure this guy's going to walk directly through the center of the corridor I told you not to walk through the center of. And here he comes. Yep, and there they go. There's all the elite mobs he spawned. Yep. That's why I need to read map chat. Despite that mistake, the dungeon's not a total loss. It's just an annoyance. All the Scepter pieces have been collected. I still can't talk to Hodgins until he reaches this wall. Once he stops, then I can finally give him the pieces. Alright, so job done. That person who got all the Scepter pieces can now waypoint back in that room, grab his chest, and we're going to head out the corridor. Unfortunately, because these things spawned, I can't really stand just outside the doorway like most players would in a stacking spot, so now we're going to have to jump down a level. Alright, so we can safely stack down here for a little bit. So we're going to get all 5 people together. Usually 1 or 2 characters in the dungeon with you will have a group running skill, or swiftness skill, whatever you want to call it. So once you do that, we're going to go through this corridor. Watch carefully. Alright, and these Gravelings do have knockdown skills, unfortunately. And there you go, I got hit with one. Alright, no big deal, shrugged it off. So again, it's important that you bring a stun break skill with you, or if you don't have that, at least bring a skill that gives you stability. I happen to have both. I just didn't use the stability skill at the right time, and I didn't dodge at the right time. I guess technically you don't even need a stun break or a stability skill. If you dodge perfectly and you're the first person in the corridor like I was, you can get through there clean if you time your dodges right. But you can just simply switch some skills up temporarily, and then once you get over here, you can switch your bar back to what it was. This is where you're supposed to go, and the reason you're supposed to come up here is it breaks aggro with all the Gravelings. What the rest of these 4 guys just did is they dragged all the aggro over to the boss, so now they have to kill the boss and all those other Gravelings at the same time. So kind of a dumb move on their part, but we have enough damage where we'll just rip through this guy. As you can see, this is the boss that's dying pretty quickly, and it's actually the final boss. He's not really that hard, just stay away from the front of him. He spews out a bunch of conditions and daze, and provided you can attack him like this, he'll go down, and that'll be all she wrote. And that's it. That's Dungeon done. Well, that's the basic of Ascalon Catacombs, guys. I wish you luck in your own runs. Use this as a reference, and practice makes perfect. So until next time, I am Unreal, and I'll see you with another dungeon guide soon.